Hi, my name is APT3037 and today I will talk about the introduction to our research paper. For background and content, this research aims to study the factors of bullying that can affect the students' health in University Malaysia Kelantan. Bullying is an inappropriate aggressive behavior among school-age children or students in which a real or perceived power imbalance exists. There are various types of bullying, such as direct and indirect. Direct bullying, or known as physical bullying, includes physical assaults like hitting, threatening, or pushing to cause suffering on the victim. Meanwhile, indirect bullying is like spreading rumors, name-calling, jokes, mockery, criticizing, and also known as mental bullying. Depending on the situation, students may be bullied or act as bullies. Therefore, it is important to understand these consequences of bullying that will eventually affect the student's health. Alright, next is problem statement. It is a problem that impacts all individuals, including those who bully, those who are bullied, and those who encounter those traumatic events. Moreover, bullying among students affect not only their academic achievement, but also leads to mental health issues and their physical well-being. This such thing occurs because the bullying happen, for example, they are being picked on by somebody else. It causes the victim feels vulnerable, helpless because the victim could not do anything. And then the investigation is to carry out to observe the impact of bullying and the victim's mental health. As a relation to this problem, the anti-bullying measure may be implemented to maintain school safety and encourage positive attitude in the classroom. Next, some of the research questions are like, are there any students of University Malaysia Kelantan involved with bullying? Or what encouraged bullying behavior among students of University Malaysia Kelantan? Or what were the results of these disciplinary actions among students of University Malaysia Kelantan? Furthermore, the purposes of this research are, we wanted to determine the connection of the factors of bullying that can affect the students' health in University Malaysia Kelantan. We also wanted to identify the nature of bullying and the forms of bullying in University Malaysia Kelantan, and to evaluate the student of University Malaysia Kelantan's perception about different causes of bullying. We have 5 operational definitions and I'm going to explain 3 of them. First is forms of bullying. According to Whitney and Smith, 1993, insults, name-calling and nicknames, beating, physical aggression, stealing, threats, or loneliness are the most common frequent kinds of bullying. This term will be used and explained in more detail in chapter 2. Secondly, group dynamics perspective. We can view bullying through integrity, homogeneity, and other evolutionary changes that are considered as goals in a group dynamic approach. All members of a group put a lot of emphasis on achieving these objectives. Other members of that specific group brutalize and exclude those individuals who are seen as impediment or who are thought to be unable to fulfill these goals, stated by Muskowski 2001. And thirdly, social order theory. Using the idea of social order theory, Hawker and Bolton 2001 proposed various theories for bullying. Individuals in society play various roles and wield various levels of influence. Aggression is one way of presenting this ability, and this term will be used and explained in more detail in chapter 2.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Syafiqah Syamimi binti Muhammad Sofi. My metric number is A19A0483. Let me continue the chapter 2 literature review. In this chapter, we as a research need to discuss and explain both of the variants more detail on the research frameworks. DV is the student health. Student health involves both the physical and mental health in the short term of the later in the student life. Physical Physical health means taking care of body and make sure it's working properly. Effect from bullying can increase mental health problems including depression and anxiety. IV1 Powerfulness that's refer to the bully using their strength based on the weakness to try control or harm other students. Through the relationship, powerfulness can happen in indirect and broadly categories affecting student health. IV2 Riven skin. Riven is the level of the riven desired by human and it is the individual phenomena. Through this, we know that riven connected to the more spontaneous response toward physical and mental health. IV3 Craving attention is mean that the action may be include telling or the doing like bully to attract more attention of the individual or group. They feel powerful and enjoy can bully other students. That's all from me. I will pass to my friend to continue other part in the chapter 2.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Namashita Haji bint Abdul Hamid. My metric number is A19A0481. Now I will continue to present about independent variable 4 and 5, conceptual framework and research hypothesis. For independent variable 4, which is aggression, relationship between aggression and student health. According to Malti and Rubin, aggression is a negative trait. A negative trait can cause the individual to hurt or harm others physically as well as verbally. Although this problem often starts from home, but if not controlled and contained from the beginning, then it will linger until school and then become the habit until adolescence. If not controlled, it will continue that negative trait until they entering the university realms. This problem can cause them to become hardcore bullies. In turn, extreme aggression to the point of being a bully will cause the predator to suffer from mental health problems as a result of the poor treatment received. It can therefore be seen that this nature can affect both perpetrators and predators in terms of mental health. Next, for independent variable 5, which is jealousy, relationship between jealousy and student health. Jealousy is a complex emotion in which it arouses suspicion, anger, fear, and humiliation. On the other hand, it's a feeling that arises when a person wants himself to have something more than others. Can strike an individual regardless of age and habit when they feel threatened. Although jealousy involves heart and feelings, it can affect an individual's mental health. This is because, according to psychologists and anthropologists, jealousy has a connection between the individual and his past, thus causing psychological or mental health problem. It can be attributed to bullying. Feeling of jealousy at seeing the superiority of others have driven them to bully so that they feel themselves stronger. As a result of this problem, not only the bullies but also the students who are being bullied will also suffer from mental problem as a result of the stress faced. For conceptual framework, in independent variable we have powerfulness, revenge seeking, craving attention, aggression and jealousy. Meanwhile, on the dependent variable we have mental health. For research hypothesis, we have 5 hypotheses. First hypothesis is, the higher the nature of powerfulness, the higher the negative impact on students' mental health problems and become a bullying factor among students of University of Malaysia Kelantan. Second, the stronger the feeling of wanting revenge, the greater the impact on students' mental health problem and become a bullying factor among students of University of Malaysia Kelantan. Third, the higher the desire of craving and intention to look bold and confident, the higher the impact on student mental health and become a factor of bullying among students of University of Malaysia Kelantan. Fourth, the higher the nature of aggression in students, the higher the impact on students' mental health and become a factor of bullying among students of University of Malaysia Kelantan. And the last hypothesis is, the greater the feeling of jealousy that arises in students, the more likely they are to have mental health problem of student and become a factor of bullying among students of University of Malaysia Kelantan.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Amira Suhaida binti Muhammad Adanan. My nomenclature is A1A0518. So I will continue my part is research design and method and resources. In research design, we use quantity research because it is more objective and examiners and explain the relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable. We also use primary and secondary resources for this research. Next is method and resources. In this method and resources divided 4 parts, namely research instrument, measurement scale, pre-testing of the instrument, and the data collecting. In addition, for research instrument, we use questionnaire and there were 3 sections. Section A is about demographic like age, the number of years of study, and educational background. Meanwhile, Section B of the questionnaire is about the study can affect bullying on the student health, and Section C is the study on the factor of bullying. The item in Section B and C were studied by using 5-point Likert scale. Besides that, for measurement scale, we use 3 types of 4 scale from measurement scale. There are ordinal scale, interval scale, and ratio scale. We not use nominal scale because this scale focus on quality research. Also, the ordinal scale, for example, in the study, the age of respondent, the number of years of study, and the educational background of student. While interval scale, we use the 5-point Likert scale ranking in the section B and C. And the last for measurement scale that we use is ratio scale. The fact that the ratio scale does everything that a nominal, ordinal, and interval can do. Also, it can establish the value of absolute zero. For example, in the study, the age that measured in the section A in questionnaire. Moreover, in the pre-testing, we use questionnaire and the questionnaire will be delivered to the respondent in the study. And this approach is an effective way to obtain the disparate data. For pre-testing purpose, 20 copies on the questionnaire will be provided. Last but not least, in data collection, that 368 undergraduate students was given a questionnaire that was connected to the study's objectives. From December 10 to December 20, 2021, a set of questionnaires were distributed to the selected respondents at the University Malaysia Kelantan. Main entrance in Pengkalan Chepel from 10 AM until 10 PM. Questionnaire will delivered. So that's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nolaina binti Nordin. Metric number is M1A0479. So, I will continue our presentation with sampling. For the population of students, the meaning of population is a group or individual or data that have similar characteristics and will be object. For our research is the factor of bullying that can infect the student healthy. The student population was undergrad student of University Malaysia Kelantan. So the target population for our research is 9,000 students. Next is size sample. Size sample is the number of population that will be using to calculate the population estimate set by research. The population of University Malaysia Kelantan is 9,000. So we estimate 368 students for sample size. Based on margin, 1,970 for large population, we 5,000 or more. Just need estimate sample size is 350 to 500. So our respondent will be accept a questionnaire for us to obtain the data. Next is sampling produced. We using probability sampling technique, which is the population has the same opportunity to be sampled. Random sampling was using to represent the respondent, and 368 were giving questionnaire. We also using stratified sampling technique. So the population divide by subgroup. For example, age of respondent, year of study, and education background. And lastly, we using facilities sampling technique. We using this technique because it easy for collect data. That's all for the sampling. And I will continue the analysis plan. So for collect data, we using SPS method. With SPS method can analysis data with graph and also statistic software. And the first analysis we using descriptive in section A of questionnaire. Section A we just about respondent. For example, age of respondent, education background, and years of study. Next, we using reliability to measure the reliability of the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable based on respondent feedback. Lastly, correlation analysis using to determine strength and weakness of IV and DV. So if the value correlation is equal 1, so indicates a perfect correlation. So that's all from sampling and analysis plan. I pass the presentation to the next presenter. Thank you.
Lastly is the implications and contribution to knowledge. This research was based on using a number of measures and variables in order to determine whether the factors of bullying could contribute to students' health. And this study is beneficial because it will evaluate how the dependent variable and the independent could influence the students and how they will observe this behavior, and it is possible that they will adopt it in the future. Okay, the primary goal of this research was to study the factors of bullying that can affect the students' health in University Malaysia Kelantan. We also conducted this research by analysing, observing related research articles, websites, and journals, as well as paying special attention to the methods that allow us to be aware for all practical purposes as specified by our research objectives. And the study also helps to improve a process by finding the causes of bullying and the prevention that could use, such as immediate need to implement anti-bullying rules in schools in order to identify and find strategies to enable students to seek the support they require, regardless gender and races, and make teachers, parents, and people around us aware of this implement. The findings of the survey really proved that the theory of bullying could affect our understanding towards bullying and the victim's mental health. These variables generate a link between the powerfulness and the victim's mental health, which is, as seen in the study of the data, is related to this factor. Apart from that, the findings also revealed that the students who were bullied on one side attempt to act as bullies on the other side as a revenge seeking. But however, healthy self-esteem is one of every individual's essential needs, and failing to meet or satisfy these necessities would have a major negative impact on youth growth and development, especially to the students. Through these findings, it may be useful in putting some light on this issue by raising awareness among students, teachers, family or guardians about the various causes of bullying and developing a plan to address this critical issue. And I think that's all from us. Thank you for listening.